You won't believe what's stirring up in Montecito right now. Meghan Markle's former nanny, yes, the very one who cared for baby Archie in those early days, has finally decided to break her silence. And what she's revealing? Oh, it's the kind of bombshell that could send shockwaves through Hollywood, Buckingham Palace, and every corner of Montecito. According to her, brace yourself, there's no Archie in Montecito. Not hidden away, not being guarded, just not there. And now reports say Meghan is in full panic mode, calling her lawyers, tightening security, and doing everything possible to keep things under wraps, to stop this from spiraling into yet another royal disaster. What began as simple gossip has now snowballed into something straight out of a Hollywood thriller. Imagine this. A serene California afternoon, sunlight spilling softly over the Montecito hills, Meghan and Harry's mansion glowing like a scene from a luxury magazine spread. Everything looks flawless, picture perfect. And then suddenly, a scream. Not just any scream, a Meghan Markle scream, the kind that makes the whole neighborhood freeze. Witnesses say the scream was so sharp, so intense, that the entire staff froze in place. 2 employees even quit later that week. And the reason? Someone, probably without realizing it, asked Meghan if she could share a recent photo of baby Archie. That's when it happened, the breakdown no one ever expected. Meghan reportedly snapped, bursting into tears, shaking, shouting, "Don't ever ask me about him again." Within hours, security locked down the property. By the next morning, lawyers were on site and staff received a stern email reminding them about their NDAs. From that moment, the name Archie vanished from the household. No photos, no mentions, nothing, as if he had never existed there at all. Those who remained say the energy inside that mansion shifted overnight. It wasn't just a meltdown, it was something deeper. A mix of fear, secrecy, and royal panic woven into one chilling mystery. And deep down, everyone could feel it. Something just didn't add up. But then came the twist that left everyone absolutely stunned. The person revealing all this wasn't a tabloid reporter or some paparazzo chasing clicks. It was the nanny. The very first nanny hired right after Archie's birth was announced. And what she confessed. It's the kind of revelation that could shake Buckingham Palace to its core. She claims she never saw Archie. Not once. Not even by accident. No baby bottles. No diapers. No late-night cries echoing down the hall. The nursery, she said, was always spotless, too spotless. The crib looked untouched. The toys were perfectly arranged, like something out of a magazine shoot rather than a child's room. It all felt staged. And that NDA she was forced to sign? It wasn't your standard confidentiality agreement. It included a disturbing clause, one that labeled any future statement she might make as emotionally unstable or psychologically unreliable. In other words, if she ever spoke up, they could simply brand her as crazy. But this nanny wasn't naive. She kept records, handwritten notes, timestamps, even voice memos, because something deep down told her that what she was witnessing wasn't normal. If Archie Harrison was really there, she said, then I never saw him. Not once. Not even by mistake. Years later, after living in silence and fear, she finally broke that NDA. And what she revealed wasn't a story of royal glamour. It was one of eerie emptiness. Picture Montecito, a neighborhood filled with laughter, kids playing in the sprinklers, dogs barking, families chatting over fences. But at the Sussex estate? Nothing but silence. Groundskeepers, delivery drivers, caterers, they all noticed it too. The place was too quiet. No toys in the yard. No car seats, no strollers, no baby monitor glowing in the dark. One cleaner reportedly told a friend, "It's like they live in a museum. Everything's for display." Even the night security guards said the same thing. No baby cries, no lights flicking on at 2 a.m., no signs of life from a nursery. Delivery logs showed no shipments of diapers, formula, or baby clothes for months. Think about that, a newborn baby, and not a single delivery. No noise, no mess, nothing. One landscaper even joked that baby must be the quietest in history. But others didn't laugh. Behind closed doors, they started whispering a nickname.
Don't you miss that feeling? getting lost in a story that feels like it was written just for you. If your heart needs a little magic, click on the link in I button or in the description or pinned comment. It's waiting at infowebster.com. Go feel something again.
They called him the Phantom of Montecito. And with that nickname, the quiet whispers turned into real questions. If Archie was truly there, then where was he? And what exactly were Harry and Meghan hiding behind those towering iron gates? But here's where the story takes an even darker turn. Because whether Archie was real, missing, or something else entirely, one thing became undeniable. He was profitable. When Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal life, their entire rebrand revolved around one powerful image: the modern, healing family. They weren't just royals anymore. They were parents rewriting history, breaking generational trauma, and redefining what royalty could look like in the real world. Every major deal they landed, Netflix, Spotify, Penguin Random House, the Archwell Foundation, was built on that family narrative. Their brand tagline? Inspired by our children. And it worked like magic. The world fell in love with the image. The money flowed. The couple became global icons of compassion and parenting, at least on paper. But according to insiders, that family image wasn't as authentic as it seemed. It was, as one source put it, a masterpiece of PR illusion. Remember that Duck Rabbit video showing Archie playing at home? Insiders claimed it wasn't filmed when everyone thought it was. The clip, they said, had been pre-recorded months earlier. Some even argued that the baby in that video didn't look like the same child from earlier photos. Different hair, slightly taller, and the background didn't even match the interior of their Montecito home. And then came the most shocking discovery: the contracts. Reportedly, some of their media deals contained a strange clause allowing childlike material to replace real family footage. In plain English, that meant they could use actors, models, or even digitally recreated imagery of a child, and it would still legally count as family content under their agreements. So, while the world was cooing over glimpses of a sweet royal baby, behind the scenes, it might not have been what anyone thought it was at all. Imagine that, being paid not for parenting, but for the idea of parenthood. A baby turned into a brand, not a being. And if the whispers are true, the mystery surrounding Archie, seen or unseen, became the most profitable ghost story in celebrity history. But here's where things cross from strange to downright chilling. Every single person who has ever worked for the Sussexes was bound by an NDA, but not just any NDA. These were described as legal traps, designed to silence even the smallest whisper. Leaked pages reportedly revealed one shocking clause: if any staff member ever shared an unverified recollection, even something innocent, they could be accused of defamation and forced into a psychiatric evaluation. In short, even the truth could be dismissed as madness. After Meghan's infamous outburst, the one sparked by the question about Archie's photo, an internal memo went out within hours. It reminded all staff, in no uncertain terms, of their duty of silence. By the next day, a lawyer had flown in from Los Angeles. By the end of that week, the nanny was dismissed, a personal aide resigned, and everyone left behind had to re-sign their NDAs under stricter terms. One former driver put it chillingly: they don't fire you for talking. They erase you before you can. Even medical professionals and PR assistants weren't spared. One pediatric specialist in LA reportedly confided to a colleague that she'd been advised to never confirm or deny any involvement with the Sussex children. And that's when the real questions started piling up. Why go to such extremes? Why spend millions enforcing silence unless there was something monumental, something world-shaking to protect? Then came the hunt for receipts. Or rather, the stunning lack of them. Because when rumors this wild surface, investigators usually follow the paper trail. But in this case, there was no trail to follow. Hospital records? Gone. Birth registration on the UK government's public site? Temporarily unavailable. Requests for verification from US investigators? Blocked. One private investigator even claimed that internal emails from a confidential project codenamed Nest, believed to be connected to Archie, had been completely wiped from staff servers. No records. No proof. Just silence and a ghostly paperless trail behind the most famous couple in the world. When analysts finally took a closer look at the metadata behind Meghan and Harry's family photos, they noticed something strange. The timestamps didn't line up with the seasons. Flowers blooming in the middle of winter. Sunlight angles that didn't match the time of year. Even shadows that seemed digitally altered. Someone, it seemed, had been editing more than just pictures. They'd been editing the story itself. But this wasn't about covering up a crime. It was about something far more calculated, controlling the narrative. And in Hollywood, that's the real power, the ability to shape perception, to decide what the world believes. Now imagine the final scene. The Montecito hills glowing amber under the California sunset, the Sussex mansion standing tall, shimmering gold against the fading sky. From afar, it looks like peace, like perfection. But take a step closer and you realize it's too quiet. Inside those designer walls sit trophies, awards, book deals, and family portraits that look flawless from every angle. The image of success, carefully curated. Yet between those glossy smiles and polished surfaces, there's an emptiness, one that money, fame, or influence can't fill. Neighbors pass by and whisper, "Where's the little boy? Why don't we ever see him playing outside?" Paparazzi have camped outside for weeks, waiting for just one candid glimpse. But nothing. Not a cry. Not a stroller. Not even the sound of laughter drifting from the garden. And that's when the realization hits. This was never really about royalty. It was about illusion. A crown not made of diamonds, but of stories. Polished. Scripted. Sold to the world. In that world of shimmering make-believe, silence has become the new throne. Maybe Archie exists. Maybe he doesn't. But one thing's undeniable. This unseen child became the most powerful ghost in celebrity history. Because Meghan's real magic doesn't lie in what she reveals to the world. It lies in what she keeps hidden. And as Montecito slips quietly into another golden California night, one haunting truth lingers in the air sometimes. The loudest secret in the world is the one hidden behind a perfect smile. The mansion rests silent, spotless, untouchable. But somewhere behind those locked iron gates, the truth is still breathing.